All right, welcome back to season 4 of our show, and today it's an all-time ultimate classic, chicken and dumplings. Let's show you how to get it done. All right, so it's the ultimate chicken and dumplings. So we're just gonna show you how to get this done. So the first thing you're gonna need is a bird. This is a stuffer, oven stuffer. It's about 6 pounds, this bird. You wanna go larger on the birds when you're making stews or you're making a stock out of a bird. You wanna always go larger on the bird. A fryer is just not gonna do. It's too lean, and you want a fatty chicken for that. And that's the only time I use fatty chicken is for things like chicken soup. So the first thing we'll do is start to season our bird. So we got a little rub here, garlic powder, onion powder, a little paprika, touch of oregano, make it yours. I just made this up about 2 seconds ago, so all the powdered ingredients, you always want to do those fresh. I'm gonna go in with some salt. There's no salt in the rub, so you gotta put some salt onto your bird. I'm gonna put a good amount because it's going in a liquid. We're making a broth. So let's flip this bird over and hit it with the other side with the dry hand and the rub. Now this was a dish I think we all grew up on. And I think everybody's mom or grandparents made this dish. And if you're around as long as I've been around, you probably had it. And if you didn't have it, this is how to make it. And if you had it and not made it, this is how to make it. All right, so let's get some more of that rub on there. I'm using a good amount of the rub, so I think I'm just gonna use it all up. And make sure you get the inner cavity too, so we're gonna make sure we dump some rub right down in the cavity of that bird too. Good amount of it. Now we didn't salt the back of this, so here we go. And just make sure you really salt this thing good. You won't go overboard, trust me. So once you salt the bird good, you know you got a really dynamite broth. All right, so here we go. Here's an onion. Inside the cavity, we're gonna stick an onion in here. And make sure you get an onion that's small enough to fit in here. That's gonna keep the cavity open and just allow all that liquid to transfer through. All right, so into the pressure cooker we go. I'm just gonna clean up some of this pan here with some of these nice seasonings on here. Just gonna spin the chicken around in it. This way nothing goes to waste. I'm gonna put it back on the chicken. And into the pressure cooker we go. Make sure you got a pressure cooker large enough to accommodate that bird. And now we're gonna take everything that's in the pan, all those nice seasonings that we have here. I'm gonna use my hand to clean the pan and just put them right back in there. They're all gonna wash off anyway, so don't worry about it. Most of it's gonna wash off. There we go. Now we're gonna come in with some water, and at the same time I'm gonna rinse my hands and get some of that seasoning off of there. This way that doesn't go to waste. We're gonna get a good amount of that stock in there because you want a good stock. I'm gonna go about there. You can always add water to it later on because it's concentrated. Now, black pepper. I'm putting some black peppercorns in here. A good amount of them. They're cracked black pepper. So I got all those in there, and this is what they look like. That's like the size of them right there. So you want to get those in there. I like the big peppercorns instead of the tiny little pepper because the tiny little pepper seems to just float all in there. All right, so we got the peppercorns in, and now we're going in with the garlic. Leave it whole. And all of our nice veggies. And if there's a fill line on your cooker, make sure you go up to the fill line and you don't go over that fill line in your cooker. So there's a max line here and I'm right under it. So that's a classic mirepoix. You got your onions, you got your celery, and you got your carrot in there. So that's all you need. It's a very simple, old school recipe. All right, we're gonna meet you right back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, chicken's inside the pressure cooker. Now we're going 30 minutes on that pressure cooker, and while we're doing that, it gives us perfect time to make those dumplings. Let's show you how to do them. All right, so nothing says dumplings like a fresh dumpling. And I like my dumplings fresh. I don't use any store-bought dumplings, and they're so easy and simple to make, as I'm going to show you. 3 cups of flour. Make your life easy. This is all-purpose flour, so it has everything in here for you, so you just need 3 cups of that. Now, dumplings take on to whatever it is that you put in here. So we got the broth going in here, and when the dumplings go into that, they're going to take on to the flavors of that broth. Look at a dumpling as like a sponge. It takes on whatever you feed it. So, here's celery. This is some of the celery that we put inside here. Anytime you're making a classic soup like this, it's the mirepoix, celery, onions, and carrot. That's your classic mirepoix. And you really don't want to go outside that and really do anything to alter this dish, because it's not the same dish anymore. And you want to keep the simplicity of this dish because it's beautiful just from the simplicity of the dish alone. All right, so here is the celery. A lot of people throw this away. This is the tips of the celery, the flour. Just break it off. Now, we're not doing anything outside a traditional recipe, but we're going to take it and we're going to add this to the dumpling. So we're just going to cut it up. And you want to get a good fine chop on this. Just make sure it's fine. Now this is going to add so much flavor to those dumplings, which they're flour dumplings, so they're going to add body anyway. Now with dumpling, chicken and dumplings, if you get the dumpling wrong, you pretty much lost the whole recipe. All right, so here we go. We're going to bring in a vessel, and we're just going to put that there. At the same time, I can smell that chicken soup starting to go. It smells beautiful already. Right now it's a chicken soup, I call it, because it's making a stock out of that chicken. You won't have to use any stocks in that chicken soup, because right now it's still in its chicken soup phase. It's not a chicken and dumplings yet, and it's making a stock, and that's what you want. All right, so let's go in with our flour. This is 3 cups. I'm just gonna feel it out. How many dumplings to chicken ratio? I think I might use half of this. If I use 2 chickens, I probably use the whole 3 cups, but I only want to make a couple of dumplings today. And the rest of these flours over here, which came off the celery, we're going to save those for a garnish, by the way. Let's bring in our water. Now this is hot water. I boiled up some water, I let it cool down, just so I can handle it. So it's not hot, 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 but it's hot. I'm going to put some in here. And we're just going to get this started. The reason why I'm using hot water is because it's going to make a beautiful dumpling. It's going to change all the gluten in here. If you use cold water, you're going to be stuck with a hard dumpling. And it's not going to be a nice soft dumpling in there. So always use hot water to make your dumplings, because it's actually going to change the dumpling. See, right off the bat, I'm so used to making large amounts of food. I made too much. So here we go. I'm going to have to tighten this up. I'm going in with some flour. I was trying to make half, but I'm going to have a little bit more dumplings than I know what to do with. But flour and water is still cheap. At least for now, anyway. Alright, so we're going to get that mixed up. We're going to get it to the point where we're going to have to start using our hands to work with this. Alright. There we go. I'm going to add some more flour. Almost like you're making a dough. I mean, basically that's what it is. I'm gonna keep folding until I'm about ready to get my hands dirty in here. Just keep turning. And now it looks like I'm just about ready to get the old hands inside there. All right, here we go. So let's start working with this. And you can feel it right off the bat. It's a nice warm dough. Let's bring it together. Working the rest of the flour that's in here. Now I might save this tomorrow, half of this, and I can make some more chicken soup tomorrow because I'll have some leftover broth. And if you have no chicken left over and you just have broth, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to have just dumplings and broth. I thought it was excellent, and we had some toast with it. And I thought it was a great thing. And it was a good feller. All right, we're gonna get that. And you can see all of the nice flour that we put in there from the celery. All right, here we go. So we're about the consistency that we want. I'm gonna mix the rest of this flour in. And you don't want a hard dumpling, you want a nice easy dumpling like a dough. As I'm folding this in, you can see it. It's nice and easy, soft dumpling. If you work this thing to death, you're gonna get a very hard dumpling, so don't do that. You almost want it like it feels like a pizza dough. When it just starts to release from your hands, you know you got it right. And you got some leftover on here. I'm just gonna use the rest of the bowl to get this dough off my hands. So when it starts releasing like that, that's when you know you got it right. And the consistency is right when it starts to pull from your hand. All right, there we go. So coming out with clean hands. Let's roll this back up. And there we have it. All right, so I'm going to take this, get it off the bottom of the pan, just like this. You still want it sticky. I'm going to fold it in, put it back down, and now I'm going to put a towel over it and let it sit for 20 minutes, or the time that this gets done, which should be about the same time, and we'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our chicken is out of the pressure cooker. Now, there's a couple of ways you can serve this. Number one is you can cut this up into pieces, present them in a bowl with the dumplings, but we're not gonna do that today. We're gonna shred this chicken, so we're gonna pull all the chicken off the bones, and then we're gonna make a beautiful chicken and dumplings in this beautiful stock over here. Take a look at this stock. This is everything that we pulled out from that chicken. So this made all that beautiful stock, and I have a little bit more left over in the pot. Let's show you what to do from here. We're gonna take this chicken. I'm just gonna get these legs off. I'm gonna cut this chicken up as if it were, I'm just gonna put it back over here. I'm gonna cut it up as if it were a raw chicken. It's just a lot easier because it's cooked. So I'm just gonna pull it apart, and I had to let this cool down a little bit to work with it. So here we go. So I'm just gonna take this, for example, and I'm just gonna start to shred some of this. It's still hot. I'm gonna just shred some of this off the bone. Just take your tongue, take a fork, and you could just pull it apart like that. And just watch all the bones. All right, so we're gonna get this pulled, and then we're gonna meet you guys back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so on a medium heat now is our broth, and we got all those nice vegetables in there. Our chicken's deboned. That was the onion that was in the middle of the chicken. And now we got this on a medium heat. So the first thing we're gonna do is get in our dumplings because we gotta cook these dumplings. And you wanna cook the flour out of them. So we're just gonna get some of these in. Just drop them. Like I said, this is how you wanna do these. Just like that. Making some pretty big dumplings because I like a big dumpling. Also, that dumpling is going to tighten up the broth in here. And I got some broth off to the side. So if it gets too tight, depending on how much dumplings we put in here, we can loosen it up with that broth. All right. I think I'm just going to get most of these in. We like a lot of dumplings, so let's use them up. Put them like that and just drop them. And then we add our chicken when we cook these off for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to continue putting these in. We're going to come back here right before we add our chicken. We'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes and this is how our dumplings look. You'll start to see all those nice seasonings in the dumplings, or that celery, come right through. They start to get kind of on the translucent side. And the gravy thickens up so you can see it. Look at that. Nice consistency. And I added a little bit more liquid to that as we went along. But now it's time to put that chicken in. That was the onion that we took out of the chicken. That's going in there too. Nothing goes to waste. And look at all that nice shredded chicken in there. I mean, that's a pot. That chicken and dumplings for you right there. I'm gonna get it all in. It's a real tight pot. Let me just stir this around. Make sure I have room. Right up to the brim on this one. Beautiful. And I think I could make it with the rest of the chicken. So we'll just get all the rest of that right in there. Here we go. Now basically at this point I'm just warming that chicken up. So 5 minutes, we'll take it off the heat, close the heat, and then we're ready to eat. But does not look scrumptious. Such an old word, scrumptious, for an old dish. All right, there you have it. All right, we're gonna get organized and we're gonna meet you onto the chopping block, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are, season 4's chopping block, chicken and dumplings. Let's show you what we got. Look at that. Beautiful. I mean, you could just see everything in there. That's what you want, right up to the brim. Let's get into this. Let's get this off to the side. And let's bring in a plate and a bowl. Here we go. We're gonna get a fork and a spoon going on. And it's time to plate this up. Now I just want to show you everything that's in here. And you could just see all that beautiful chicken and dumplings. Let's get some in that bowl there. Now this is why I put that celery leaf inside those dumplings, because you want to be able to see that. Let's just get a little bit more there. I'll get some carrots on top. All right, here we go. Let's clean our plate up as usual. We're going fancy old style today. And I think I want maybe a little extra carrot on one side there. There we go. Now how I present this is that celery. So never throw away the celery. And what I'll do is I'll look for some of the smallest pieces in here. And I'll just break them. We got 3 small ones here. I'm gonna try to break them all together and just stick them right in there. Just like that. And then you got a beautiful garnish there. And if you want, you could even take some of that celery and just put it off to the side of the plate as well too. Just leads for a really nice presentation. There you have it. All right, time to get into this. So I'll just remove that garnish and let's try this one. I think I'll bring in a nice spoon. I get some chicken, a dumpling, and let's give that a go. Phenomenally simple. I mean, that is just simplicity right there. Salt, pepper, mirepoix. Can't go wrong with this one. Those dumplings are nice and soft. Outstanding dish. All right, we're gonna get organized and we're gonna meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. A very straightforward, non-difficult, simplistic, old-fashioned dish. Chicken and dumplings. Doesn't get much easier than this. Very comforting. And if you like this video and more videos about to come, give a like, hit that bell, this way you get all these videos first. Thank you, we enjoyed you coming. And with no further ado, gotta get that last pit master taste there.